Assalamu alaikum. So, today we'll discuss about the next part of homeostasis of the chapter 1 of Gaiton. So, if we ask what is homeostasis, what you will say? Homeostasis is to describe the maintenance of nearly constant condition in the internal environment. The term homeostasis is the maintenance of nearly constant condition in the internal environment. Here, the term nearly constant. That means body try to maintain the value of all the elements in the constant condition as far as it's possible. Essentially, all the organs, tissues of the body perform functions that help maintain these relatively constant conditions. For example, the lungs provide oxygen to the extracellular fluid to replenish the oxygen used by the cells. The kidneys maintain constant iron concentration, and the gastrointestinal system provides nutrients while eliminating waste from the body. Our lungs try to maintain the oxygen and carbon dioxide, maintain constant iron concentration, and GIT provide nutrients to the body. Various ions, nutrients, waste products, and other constituents of the body are normally regulated within a range of values rather than at fixed values. For some of the body's constituents, this range is extremely small. Variations in the blood hydrogen concentration, for example, are normally less than 5 nanomole per liter. It means most of the constituents are normally regulated within a range of values, not a fixed value, range of value. That is from 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 80 to 120, like this. And body hydrogen, in case of body hydrogen, variations of hydrogen concentration is very strictly maintained, less than 5 nanomole per liter. On the other hand, the blood sodium concentration is also tightly regulated, normally varying only a few millimoles per liter, even with large change in sodium intake. If you take more sodium, the sodium concentration in the extracellular fluid will be strictly controlled within the range. Powerful control systems exist for maintaining concentration of sodium and hydrogen ions, as well as for most of the other ions, nutrients, and substances in the body at levels that permit the cells, tissues, and organs to perform their normal functions. Here it is said that powerful control system exists for maintaining concentrations of sodium and hydrogen ions, as well as other nutrients and substances. So we have some powerful control systems. Much of this test is concerned with how each organ or tissue contributes to the homeostasis. Normal body functions require integrated actions of the cells, tissues, organs, and multiple nervous, hormonal, and local control systems that together contribute to homeostasis and good health. This means the normal functions of the body requires integrated action of cells, tissue, organs, and multiple nervous or local control system. All the systems try to maintain the homeostasis, to make the health good. Homeostatic compensation in disease. Disease is often considered to be a state of disrupted homeostasis. When homeostasis is disrupted, the condition is called homeostasis. However, even in presence of disease, homeostatic mechanisms continue to operate and maintain vital functions through multiple compensation. It means in the presence of disease, homeostatic mechanisms continue to operate. Different system, different homeostatic mechanisms try to make the disease condition to its normal condition. In some cases, this compensation may lead to major deviations of the body's function from the normal range, making it difficult to distinguish the primary cause of the disease from the compensatory response. Example, diseases that impair kidney's ability to excrete salt and water may lead to high pressure. If there is any disease that impairs kidneys' ability to excrete salt and water, it will cause blood pressure to rise. Initially helps return excretion to normal so that a balance between intake and renal excretion can be maintained. This balance is needed to maintain life, but over a long period of time, the high blood pressure can damage various organs, including the kidneys, causing even greater increase in blood pressure and more renal damage. So, from disease condition, homeostasis try to compensate, but in this case, sometimes the organ may be destroyed, damaged, and may be injured. Extracellular fluid transport and mixing system, the blood circulatory system, ECF, extracellular fluid, that is called internal environment. The ECF transport and mixing system, the blood circulatory system. Extracellular fluid is transported through the body in two stages. The first stage is movement of blood through the body in the blood vessels. The second is movement of fluid between the blood capillaries and intercellular spaces between the cells. That is, first the blood will be pumped from heart to all over the body, and then second stage is movement of fluid from blood capillaries to the intercellular space. This is a figure where blood comes from the heart and it enters into the cell, and from the cell the waste product enter into the vessel or capillary. So, uh, figure 1.1. This figure 1.1 shows the overall circulation of blood. All the blood in the circulation traverses the entire circuit an average of once each minute when the body is at rest and as many as 6 times each minute when a person is extremely active. As blood passes, this is lungs, here is the heart, the left heart pump blood to whole of the body, then it through the venous system return to the right heart and then to the lungs. It is again mixed with oxygen and carbon dioxide gets out from the lungs. And this way, the whole blood is pumped to different area of the body, that is heart, kidney, and the capillaries. Next, origin of nutrients in the extracellular fluid. Nutrients. Oxygen is also a nutrient, so it comes from respiratory system, from the lungs. The blood picks up the blood picks up oxygen in the alveoli, thus acquiring the oxygen needed by the cells. The membrane between the alveoli and the lumen of the pulmonary capillaries, the alveolar membrane is only 0.4 to 2 micrometers thick, and the oxygen rapidly diffuses by molecular motion through the membrane into the blood. That is, from the air, the oxygen through the alveolar membrane or the respiratory membrane enters into the blood by diffusion. The process is called diffusion. And the carbon dioxide, again from blood to the air, goes by the process diffusion. Next nutrient from the gastrointestinal tract. Thus, the substances or food that we eat, it is digested and absorbed in the gastrointestinal tract as glucose, fructose, fatty acid, and amino acids, and absorbed in the extracellular fluid of blood. Liver and other organs that perform primarily metabolic functions. Not all substances absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract can be used in their absorbed form by the cells. The liver changes the chemical composition of many of these substances to more usable forms, and other tissues of the body, fat cell, gastrointestinal, mucosa, kidneys, and endocrine glands help modify the absorbed substances, store them until they are needed. That is, when the substances are reabsorbed or absorbed by the GIT, they are some converted in the liver to usable forms. There are different substances. It will be discussed in later. Even liver also eliminate certain waste products produced by the body and toxic substances that are ingested. Liver also eliminate toxic substances from the body and detoxify the body. Musculoskeletal system is also considered to contribute in homeostasis. Now, the answer is that the body could not move to obtain foods required for nutrition if the muscular system doesn't work. If you didn't get food, your homeostatic mechanism will be hampered. So muscular system will move you to the area where food is present, or muscular system will make you to run away from the area where the danger present to save the homeostasis of the body. So how the metabolic end products are removed from the body to maintain homeostasis? Removal of carbon dioxide by the lungs, oxygen enters into the body. After metabolism, carbon dioxide is produced and it is removed from the body by the lungs by diffusion. Kidneys. Kidneys help to excrete metabolic waste product like urea, creatinine, excess hydrogen, excess potassium, excess water, and it also helps to reabsorb the important substances that are needed. So if you study this, you will find the uh, details how kidney eliminate the waste product. Passage of blood through the kidneys remove most of other substances from the plasma beside carbon dioxide that are not needed by the cells. These substances include different end products of cellular metabolism, such as urea and uric acid. They also include excess water from the food that accumulate in extracellular fluid. So on interest, you may read this also. The kidneys perform their function first by filtering large quantities of plasma through the glomerular capillaries into the tubules. This topic is vastly discussed in the kidney system, but in a nutshell, here it is discussed. That is, the blood enters into the kidney, it is and filtered through the glomerular capillaries and reabsorbed into the blood substances needed by the body, such as glucose, amino acid, appropriate amounts of water, and many of the ions. Most of other substances that are not needed, they are excreted out. Gastrointestinal system, undigested materials that are entered into the gastrointestinal tract, the most product of the metabolism are eliminated. The substances that are digested and the rest of the substances that are not reabsorbed that forms fecal matter and the fecus is excreted out from the body. Liver. Among the many functions of the liver is detoxification. So liver eliminate metabolic end product. Regulation of body function. How the homeostasis is maintained. There are different systems in our body, of which the most important is nervous system and another is hormone system. These two systems control all other systems of the body. The nervous system is composed of three major parts: sensory input portion, central nervous system, integrative portion, and the motor output portion. Sensory sense comes from the periphery to the brain, spinal cord. They uh, through signals, motor signals for motor functions. Sensory receptors detect the state of the body and its surroundings. For example, receptors in the skin alert us whether an object touches the skin. The eyes are sensory organs that give a visual image of the surrounding area. The ear are also sensory organs. The central nervous system is composed of brain and a spinal cord. So remember it. The central nervous system is composed of brain and a spinal cord. The brain stores information, generates thoughts, creates ambition, and determines reactions of the body. Boom, in response to the sensation, appropriate signals are then transmitted through the motor output portion of the nervous system to carry out one's desire. That is, you see an apple, you want to eat it, the brain signals you to pick up it and to eat it. So if you don't see the apple, you would not urge to eat it. An important segment of the nervous system is called autonomic system. Another important segment of the nervous system is autonomic system. This is autonomic because it works in unconscious, subconscious level and control many functions of the internal organs without knowing you. That is pumping activity of the heart, movement of the GI tract, secretion of many body glands. On the other hand, another system, hormone system that helps to maintain homeostasis, located in the body are endocrine glands, organs, and tissues that secrete chemical substances called hormones. Hormones are chemical substances that are secreted from endocrine glands and it is released in the blood and perform different works. Example, thyroid hormone. It is released from thyroid gland, increases the rate of most chemical reactions in all cells, thus helping set the tempo of bodily activity. A common hormone we know, insulin, controls glucose metabolism, that is, control blood glucose level. Adrenocortical hormone secreted from the adrenal gland that present on the apex of the kidney, control sodium and potassium ions and protein metabolism. Parathyroid gland secrete parathyroid hormone. It controls bone calcium and phosphate. That is, when calcium level is decreased in the body, parathyroid hormone increases the calcium level. When calcium level is increased, parathyroid hormone secretion decreased, and calcium level is decreased. Thus, the hormone provide a regulatory system that complements the nervous system. The nervous system controls many muscular and secretory activities of the body, whereas the hormone system regulates many metabolic functions. Actually, hormonal system mainly maintains the metabolic function, that is cellular metabolism, and the nervous system controls muscular and secretory activity. Secretory, that's mean hormonal secretion, glandular secretion, all the controlled by the nervous system. The nervous and hormonal system normally work together in a coordinated manner to control essentially all the organ systems of the body. Protection of the body, it is also a part of homeostasis. Immune system, it is an internal protective mechanism by which the body try to prevent the cell and the organs from the foreign substances like bacteria, virus, and parasite and fungus. The immune system consists of different cells and glands like thymus, lymph node, lymph vessels. They produce white blood cell and helps in immune system. The immune system provides a mechanism for the body to carry out the following: distinguish its own cells from harmful foreign cells and substances, destroy the invader phagocytes, or by producing sensitized lymphocytes or specialized protein antibodies that destroy or neutralize the invader. That is, the uh, immune system distinguishes its own cells from harmful foreign cells. On it destroy invader, that's mean virus, bacteria, by phagocytosis or by producing sensitized lymphocyte. It will be discussed here later. So immune system helps us to protect our body. Integumentary system. What is integumentary system? The skin and its various appendages like hair, nails, glands, and other structures are called integumentary systems. They cover, they cover, cushion, and protect the deeper tissues and organs of the body, and generally provide a boundary between the body's internal environment and outside the world. That is our skin. Cover our body, uh, cushion, and protect the deeper tissues and organs of the body, like the nail. Nail is a part of integumentary system. Reproduction is also called homeostatic uh, regulatory system because if because it produces the new generation and thus helps to maintain the environment and to maintain the new species. It helps maintain homeostasis by generating new beings to take the place of those that are dying. Control system of the body. How homeostasis is controlled? If you asked how homeostasis is controlled. So this is the next discussion, control system of the body. The human body has thousands of control systems, thousands. Some of the most intricate in some of the most intricate of these systems are genetic control systems that operate in all cells to help regulate intercellular and extracellular functions. That subject is discussed in chapter 3, so it will be discussed in later. Many other control systems operate within the organ to regulate functions of the individual parts of the organs. Others operate throughout the entire body to control the interrelationship between the organs. For example, respiratory system operating in association with nervous system, regulating the concentration of carbon dioxide in the extracellular fluid. The liver and pancreas control glucose concentration in the extracellular fluid, and the kidney regulate concentration of hydrogen ion, sodium, potassium, phosphate, and other ions in the extracellular fluid. Example of control mechanisms: regulation of oxygen, carbon dioxide concentration in the extracellular fluid. Because oxygen is one of the major substances required for chemical reactions in the cells, the body has a special control mechanism to maintain an almost exact and constant oxygen concentration in the extracellular fluid. The mechanism depends principally on the chemical characteristics of the hemoglobin, which is present in the red blood cell. You have already known that what is RBC. In the RBC red blood cell, it contains hemoglobin, and hemoglobin helps to maintain oxygen concentration in the ECM. Hemoglobin combines with oxygen at the as the blood passes through the lungs. Then, as the blood passes through the tissue capillaries, hemoglobin, because of its own strong chemical affinity for oxygen, does not release oxygen into the tissue fluid if too much oxygen is already there. However, if oxygen concentration in the tissue fluid is too low, sufficient oxygen is released to re-establish an adequate concentration. That is, oxygen is in the lungs, it is bound with hemoglobin, and in the tissue, it is released. Thus, regulation of oxygen concentration in the tissues relies to a great extent on the chemical characteristics of the hemoglobin. This regulation is called oxygen buffering function of hemoglobin. Carbon dioxide concentration in the extracellular fluid is regulated in a much different way. Carbon dioxide is a major end product of oxidative reaction in the cells. If all the carbon dioxide formed in the cells continued to accumulate in the tissue fluid, all energy-giving reactions of the cells would cease. It means carbon dioxide concentration in the extracellular fluid is maintained strictly. Carbon dioxide is produced by different metabolism in the cell, and this must be excreted out from the body by the lungs. Fortunately, higher than normal carbon dioxide concentration in the blood excites the respiratory center. That is, carbon dioxide stimulates the respiratory center, and the lungs will evacuate carbon dioxide from the body by breathing system. Here is a term, negative feedback control of arterial pressure. By the arterial baroreceptor, signals from the sensor baroreceptors are sent to the medulla of the brain. Baroreceptor. What is baroreceptor? The baroreceptors are the receptors that that sense the pressure of the artery. That are the receptor why the blood pressure is increased or decreased. If blood pressure is increased, it is controlled by the brain medulla to lower it in normal level. When it is decreased, it is trying to be normal in its normal level by different organs. That is called negative feedback system. When arterial pressure increases abnormal, this abnormal pressure increases nerve impulse from the baroreceptor to the medulla of the brain, where the input signals are compared with the set point, generating an error signal that leads to decreased sympathetic nervous system activity. Decreased sympathetic activity causes dilation of the blood vessel and reduced pumping activity of the heart, which return arterial pressure toward normal. This is negative feedback loop. That is, when blood pressure increase or decrease, the receptor sensor will be stimulated or inhibited. This goes to the brain, medulla, vasomotor center. The sympathetic system will be stimulated or inhibited. Blood vessel of the heart, blood vessel will be dilated or constricted. Heart pump will be increased or decreased, and thus blood pressure is controlled either to normal. Okay, so this is the this is the negative feedback control system. So we have understand a new word, new sentence, that is negative feedback system. Regulation of arterial blood pressure. This is by negative feedback system that I have already read it and trying to make it understand. Several systems contribute arterial blood pressure regulation. One of these is the baroreceptor system. The baroreceptor system, where it is present in the walls of the bifurcation region of the carotid arteries in the neck and also in the arch of aorta in the thorax. So where the baroreceptors are present. When arterial blood pressure is too high, baroreceptors send barrages of the nerve impulse to the medulla of the brain. Here, this impulse inhibit the vasomotor center, which in turn decreases number of impulses transmitted from the vasomotor center through the sympathetic nervous system to heart and blood vessel. Lack of this impulse causes diminished pumping activity of the heart, dilation of the peripheral blood vessels, allowing increased blood flow through the vessel. So, in a nutshell, if we describe it, that when blood pressure increases, the vasomotor center will be inhibited, sympathetic system will be inhibited, and heart pumping will be diminished, and blood vessel will be dilated, and blood pressure will come back to normal. Conversely, a decrease in arterial pressure, উল্টা যদি হয় এরকম, a decrease in arterial pressure below normal relaxes the stress receptor, allowing the vasomotor center to become more active than usual, thereby causing vasoconstriction, increased heart pumping, and blood pressure tries to be normal. Normal ranges and physical characteristics of important extracellular fluid constituents. So, we have already discussed up to this level, and in the next session we'll discuss from this topic, and further we will end this chapter by understanding homeostasis and how it is controlled. Thank you, and wait for the next session, and please subscribe my channel to get more about the information of the physiology. Thank you.